Now let's move to Benue State. It's once again in the spotlight. And this time, not because of the long-running farmer header crisis, a few new wave of violent crime is sweeping across communities in Makurdi and beyond, from motorcycle snatching to armed robberies, mob justice, and even arson. In one shocking case last week, 2 young men were lynched by a mob after being accused of belonging to a syndicate responsible for stealing over 50 motorcycles, household appliances, and even carrying firearms. Their hideout was burned down by angry residents, and the community says they had operated undetected for months.
But this, well, it's not just about criminal gangs. Residents are also raising the alarm over police harassment and heavy-handedness. Our own correspondent, Leah, experienced this firsthand while covering the incident. Her phone was seized, and she was also assaulted by an officer at the scene. Well, so this morning, we're asking what exactly is happening in Benue State. Why is community trust eroding on all sides, and how safe are residents? So joining us are Dr. Joseph Har, the Special Advisor to the Benue State Governor on Internal Security, and our correspondent, Leah. Gentlemen and lady, you are welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome, Dr. Har and Leah. Dr. Har, from your office standpoint, what exactly is fueling this sudden spike in violent crime in Duguri, especially, the motorcycle snatching and armed attacks? Makurdi, I beg your pardon.
Yeah, good morning. You didn't introduce yourself, so I may not address you as per your names. But good morning, and it's good to have me here. Issues of criminality are not location targeted. So when you say there's increase of criminality in Makurdi, it's too myopic to say. Normally, we have what is called the amber month for September, especially November and December. Always witness increase in criminality. So it's not about Benue State being in the news for motorcycle snatches, but it's an issue of criminality increase, which has to do with the U-tide. These things come with the U-tide, so it's not a peculiar thing about Benue State.
Dr. Har, thank you very much. I'm going to come back to you on that, on the peculiarity of the situation in Benue State regarding criminality. But let's first of all take Suwese's experience. Suwese, we hear that you were caught in the middle of all of this criminality. If you can give us a recount of exactly what happened so we can get a very good idea, a first-hand experience from the situation.
Okay, Mazino, thank you very much. So it was quite a very tense situation that very day, Thursday last week, this week, Thursday. So it was very horrifying because it started like a joke where a few young men gathered at the residence while I was returning from work. And I asked questions. I said, what is going on here? They said nothing. So I went back into my apartment. And then a few hours later, I started hearing a lot of noise outside. And I said, what is going on? So I came outside the gate and then I looked around and I saw that there were so many people. They were numbering up to 30, 40 of them gathered in front of the gates before my house. And they were trying to gain access into the apartment. So I rushed there and tried to find out what was going on. So I brought out my phone and tried to record. And immediately the young men gathered me and they were like, we are going to lynch you here and there's nothing you can do about it. And before I knew what was happening, words traveled around that I was trying to record, to report to the police or whatever they felt I was trying to do to them. So they said they were going to lynch me and they were already gathering me in large numbers and I was getting scared. And then somebody that seemed to have recognized me among the mob said, no, this lady is a journalist. She just moved into this apartment not long ago. So just spare her. She doesn't mean any harm. So he took me away from the mob and then he said, find your way home. Or in fact, stay away from him. Go away from here. So I managed to escape that situation that Thursday night. And then it continued while the mob eventually caught up with a young man inside the house. He ran off, jumped through the fence with his cousin who was in the room with him. Eventually they caught up with them. They lynched them on the spot. And the mob returned to the apartment again and started making a lot of trouble. They wanted to burn it down. The police managed to put the situation under control that night because the mob was out of control that night, and the police they couldn't even do much because the mob was out of control. So by the following day, the tension continued. So I was trying to cover the situation to see what I could get from it. And then the police officer approached me and was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "Sir, I'm trying to cover the situation. And away from that, this is my location. So I'm heading home." And he said, "Why are you going home? Go back, go back." And then he pounced on me, began to slap me, give me some multiple slaps. And I was like, "Sir, what have I done? I'm just innocent. I'm not even part of the mob." He said, "I don't care. And whatever I do to you here, nothing will happen to me. So just find your way out of here." And then he seized my phone and said, "I should delete everything I've taken from here and get out of here." So I tried to cry because I was so shocked that was happening to me, and I was traumatized given the incidents of the previous night, and then waking up the following morning, confronted by the mob the previous night, confronted by the police the following morning. So it was like back-to-back experiences, and it was so traumatizing for me. But thankfully, I was able to get away from the situation before it eventually escalated, and the building was brought down completely, and all the items in the apartments were looted.
So SA, just to confirm, are you saying that your property was also burned?
Luckily enough, the SA, who is also on the show here with us right now, he was very proactive when he was reached out to by the MD, and he quickly rushed to the situation, and it was immediately arrested. He came with the fire service, and they were able to put out the fire in good time, and they were also able to put away the mob. Otherwise, our house would have been burnt down as I speak to you, because it was already getting into our apartment before the fire service arrived. So they were able to curtail the fire, they were able to put out the fire, and our house was safe. But then we're not completely safe from the mob, who were bent on looting everything they found around, because they also accused us of being in the know of the criminal activities of the gang. And we tried to tell them we don't know anything about these people, but they said we're part of it. So they were going to also deal with us because we're supporting them. We're even cooking for them from what they said. We're helping them to, feed so that they can carry out criminal activities. So they wanted to get to our place, but then the security were able to stop them. So as it is now, there is a lot of calm, but then they are coming around every now and then and still trying to see what they can get from that scene.
Well, so I say thank you very much. It must have been very traumatic. Apologies for what you went through, especially in the line of duty. So do take heart. I'm sure that you'd be fine. Now, Dr. Har, let's come back to you and talk about the unique situation here. I know that you've said that the Ember Months brings increased criminality. However, it seems to be the norm in places like Benue. For instance, this particular instance here, where we have them actually saying that they want to lynch culprits. First off, there is the lynch mob mentality. There's the fact that even after they were able to get their hands on these people, they returned to burn down people's apartments. There is also the fact that they also carried out criminalities by looting properties, and that there is no trust in the authorities, in this case, the police, as we have just heard from Suese, who told about the fact that she was harassed by the authority itself. So there's a lot going on in this instance, and across Benue, it seems to be the same. So what do you have to say about this, sir?
Well, my brother, I want to make some observations and some corrections here. One of the things that happens in Nigeria these days, because of the advent of handsets, is that as soon as an incident happens, everybody around becomes a journalist. And so sometimes I'm not speaking for the police. And sometimes the people come in who are not actually journalists in some disguise to also be part of that same loot they're talking about here. So I'm not speaking for the police, but I think Nobody, not the IG, not the Commissioner of Police of Benue State that I know, we support a policeman manhandling somebody. These are SSS that operatives do while on duty. That's the first thing I want to put here. Secondly, I want to also state here that no government, we agree or authorize jungle justice. And when you say particularly Benue State, I beg to disagree with you again. It is not Benue State alone that you have issues of jungle justice. It is condemnable, but it's not a peculiar thing with Benue State. People have been lynched in River State, in Port Harcourt, where I came from. People have been lynched in Port Harcourt. People have been lynched even in Abuja. So it's not a peculiar thing about Benue State, but it's a condemnable issue. Now, again, I'm not speaking for the police, but what happened the night that this thing took place was that the police E-Division came in promptly and evacuated the motorcycles that were discovered in that compound, the machines that were used as a factory. They bring machines, they snatch motorcycles and bring in there and spray them, and all the spray machines and all of that, and took them to the station. So if they say people looted, at that point it was not looting. They carried the thing to the police station. Now, the next day when the fire incident, the burning down of the residence took place, again I want to correct here that burning houses were not burnt. The particular building, one building, where these guys with giant dogs and where they operate this criminality was the one that was set ablaze. And just as Leah said, when the CEO called me that his staff is trapped down in the environment, I went there myself. As she said, it's true, it's correct. And to avoid the fire escalating to the next building, which is the estate that Leah lives, we had to bring in the fire service to put out the fire. So it's not a peculiar thing about Benue State. It's criminality, and criminality is not celebrated. It shouldn't be celebrated. If, like when I went there, I saw her with News Central T-shirts. I'm not sure the policeman would have handled her if he saw that. But apart from even having the symbol of News Central, the policeman ought not to have harassed anybody in the first place. But again, she's saying that there was a mob action that the police need to contend with. And in contending with crises of this nature, so many things can take place. So it's not just one of the hazards. And I want to sincerely sympathize with my little sister here, my daughter. I take it as one of the blisters of labor.
Dr. Har, pardon me to interject real quick. You mentioned that, the day you saw Leah, or when you went to look for Leah before, after the CEO of News Central called you, she was wearing the T-shirt. So were you able to talk to the officer? So because she wasn't wearing her T-shirt, her News Central uniform, did that give him the right to slap her, knowing fully well the people in the area already mentioned that she was a journalist, sir?
Well, you repeated the same thing I said. I said what you just said now. Well, as at the time she was manhandled was the previous day, if I'm right, Leah, where I was not there.
No, sir. No, sir. There were two incidents that happened. The previous Thursday night, it was the mob that were angry that I was covering the event, and then the following morning, which was Friday, it was the police officer that did that, sir. So there were two incidents of manhandling assault.
Yeah, I answered this. I said no Inspector General of Police, not police in Makurdi, in the Benue State that I know, we approve the manhandling of someone, whether in line of duty or not.
Okay.
You understand? So I'm as I said, I'm not speaking for the police.
Okay.
But when you have a crisis of this nature, where over 200 youth came into this environment protesting to pull down the building. Containing this crisis, the method of containing this crisis, that is what is called the voluntary principle for security and human rights. The officer ought to have activated this principle. The principle says you should do your security jobs while respecting the rights of human beings. I am not supporting what he did. He wasn't correct. I wasn't there. If I were there, I would have stopped. I would have stopped him. And if the CP that I know, Eminari, if he knows about this, he will actually take a caution on this.
Right. Okay. So, Dr. Leah, Dr. Har and Leah, please don't go anywhere. We need to go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Welcome back. You've bumped into conversations regarding insecurity in Benue State, where we have Dr. Joseph Har and, of course, New Central correspondent Leah Anyo, who have joined us. Now, we're talking about instances from Benue State, Makurdi to be precise, only just the past 1 week.
Yeah.
We also talked about the fact that there seems to be very reduced trust in authorities. Dr. Har and Leah, I hope you guys are still with us. Thank you very much for staying. We've got more questions for you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Har, for staying with us, and Leah for the reporting. You know, Leah mentioned that, you know, Dr. Har came quickly to rescue by bringing, the firefighters. So now, Dr. Har, I wanted to just ask you that, you know, the mob killing of the 2 alleged bike snatchers last week, it shows deep frustration and a breakdown of trust, you know, in security agencies. How do I put this? What does this tell you about, you know, public confidence in law enforcement in Benue State? Dr. Har?
Yeah, okay. So once again, thank you so much. When we talk about people losing trust in law enforcement in Benue State, I again want to state without missing words that in a society where you have more than one person, you should expect everyone comfortable or satisfied with what someone is doing. But when you look at the general holistic view of what these people do, I give them kudos. I give them kudos because the government of the day, when we came on board, we inherited 13 local governments that are on the red line. I can mention them if you want me to mention them. And then it is not the market woman that fought this to go down. It's the same security agencies that fought this thing, brought it down first of all to 11 local governments. It went down to 7 local governments. It went down to 3. It went up to 6, and it went back again. And so, who did this job that today we see people, a place that they used to have bloodbath, killing hundreds of people? The last that happened in that magnitude was the Yerwata attack. And after the Yerwata attack, the president visited, and the statements from the governor and the paramount ruler, the king of the T nation, gave rise to why the president ordered for most security agencies to be deployed in Benue State. And they did, actually. And if we want insecurity to be eradicated, if that is what we are looking for, then it means Satan must be killed. Because insecurity is the activity of Satan the devil. So it's to mitigate, to keep pushing, to keep striving hard to see that these things go down to a reasonable level.
All right.
And so people that are on the line, some are dying, some lose their limbs and all of that. If we try to say they're not doing anything, we're doing a disservice to them. So I can tell you that the synergy that happens in Benue State as an erudite security professional, I can confirm to you that the security professional, security agencies in Benue State are doing their very best.
Well, that's very encouraging to hear, sir. Very, very, very encouraging. But beyond the arrests that have been made, what else is the state doing strategically, security-wise, to, well, restore trust in the authorities and also to prevent people from, well, these occasions of jungle justice?
Okay, so one of the things that this government brought on board is the issue of security education and awareness. I was just talking to Leah. This incident in that compound would have been reported if Leah and the rest of them in that compound had known what to do. Because constantly there's a generator on in that compound. And then there's a fabrication. Fabrication goes on in that place. And then there are heavy dogs in that place. This alone is a flag. It's a pointer that someone should have raised a flag. Sometimes we are so committed to things we do that we forget the aspect of trying to know our neighbors. So know your neighbor is a security strategy. If the neighbors had taken a little time to observe the activities of that place, bikes come in there and don't go out. Bikes go in there, they're red, they go out blue. And constantly there is generator on and a machine, a fabrication going on there. It's enough to go and give information that my neighbor, there's something going around this camp. I don't know what they're doing here. Please come and check. Let's know what they're doing here. If we had knowledge of what to do in neighborhood security, they would have discovered those guns on time. You see, so look at the issue of my involvement. Because the CEO called me immediately. Suppose you have my number. Now, do we even have numbers of law enforcement agencies that are near to us? We don't have these things. So we have resident security, we have street security, we have security of worship centers, we have security of schools, and all of that. Elsewhere, where these things are prone to these vices, people are taught what to do. Even rehearsals are made, but it becomes a way of life. In the event that this thing happens, the level of calamity will not be as devastated as if nobody had taught anything. So we are teaching people on what to do, what to look out for, and things like that. When there's an explosion, Jabdina has said, "Oh, I'm live and direct here in Yanya, a suicide bomber." Every bomb blast comes with a twin sister. As one has blasted, there's a next one that will come up. As you are doing your, I'm here live and direct, boom, and you are gone. So teach people what to do in case of arm attack. Teach people what to do in case of emergency. Teach people what to do in case of intelligent gathering. Last week, I was in Zone C, teaching all the traditional rulers in Zone C. What was that teaching them? How to police their communities. Have database of every community. Everyone, the sex, the age, the occupation, the GSM, the NIN, the address of everyone in the community. That alone reduces the crime by 60%. Because once you know everyone in the environment, people are careful. So what we need to do, and we are doing in Benue State, is security education.
Yeah.
Let me give another example that happened in Kwan local government. The President General of the Kunav people, Kunav is a local government called Vanika. The President General was kidnapped on the 30th of December last year. And I moved into action immediately. I chased those kidnappers and got to Adipo. What did I do? I hired 12 cyclists and paid them money. Go around and tell food vendors, if you see anyone buying food in large quantity, cooked food in large quantity or bread in large quantity, please let us know. That was security education. Lo and behold, 2 hours after I did this, a young man could buy cooked rice, 5,000 cooked rice. And they seller said, please let me go and find takeaway plates. She called us. We grabbed the guy and went straight. He took us straight to the place, and the police and the civil protection guard neutralized these guys and rescued this man on hot.
Wow.
That is the effect of security education and awareness.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. So it's not about, and another bad thing that is happening is this issue of politics. We politicize everything. Everything that comes up, we take it into politics. Even when we're talking things that are beneficial to the state. Now you destroy a state and you want investors to come. How will investors come to the state that you are giving so much negative reports against them? Things that never happened, you say they happened.
All right then, Dr. Ba.
Wow. Well, Dr. Har, thank you. Thank you so much for bringing so much clarity to this, troubling development happening in Benue State. We'll continue to follow up these stories and push for accountability on all sides. And Leah, we're so sorry that you had to go through that. And we appreciate you for your resilience and your reporting. And, do stay safe. We appreciate both of you for coming on and giving us an insight to this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Leah.
Let me just give advice to Leah and maybe to News Central.
Okay.
You see, the presence of mechanics makes it difficult to identify who is a madman. Because of this crazy issue of auxiliary journalists, maybe need to have a reportage. We used to know people reporting for television, they used to have microphones or something, look different from other reporters. So that you don't just carry handsets, so that you don't expose your people to this kind of risk.
Okay.
I sincerely, as matters with her, and if I know the policeman, I'll ask him to come and apologize to Leah.
Okay.
But on behalf of the policeman, Leah, I'm sorry that you had to go through all of that. It's the tension of a crisis situation. It's not acceptable. The voluntary principle for security and human rights doesn't allow this. She would have applied that without harming you as a lady. They wouldn't have done that to you. So even without the policeman, I want to sincerely apologize to you for the manhandle. We are going for the best. Let's not look at semantics and all those things that people are talking about.
All right.
Thank you
Dr.
so much.
Har, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Leah, like he said, we also sympathize with you. Leah, I don't know if you were listening from earlier. We actually gave our weekend position out to all the men here at News Central. While I'm not taking that away from them, I will add you into that group because you indeed have shown such courage that we do need to, and you do deserve a spot as one of the weekend warriors for this week. Thank you very much, Leah.
Well done, Leah.
And do take heart
Thank you.
and continue being courageous. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Har.
Thank you.